Welcome. Y'all look like something happened. You should be excited. Where I come from, when we get this many people together, we call the hogs or get excited about something. Now, this is the day to rejoice. It was so pretty outside. My fingers are a little cold still. I have neuropathy, so the digits get just a little cold and stay that way for just a while. But we have reason to celebrate. The goal here is to put some of these businesses out of a job. And I think we are well on our way. Even though we have done some remarkable work and we have work still to do, we can eventually put people out of a job in this line of work because we are well on our way where right to life is going to happen for all of the unborn. I've had roles to play in my life, one of being a daughter, one of a wife, one of surviving cancer. One of my greatest roles was when I was told I was going to be a mother. And yet even a greater role was when I became a grandmother. I have seen a lot of things in my life. One event that took place was when a wreck happened and Mike and I jumped out of the car to go help the people that had been involved in the wreck. And it was kind of a simple thing. It was in a parking lot in the mall, and right outside, two cars had collided, and a mother and a young lady were in there, and I was helping them. I was putting the young girl into the backseat of my car and trying to find out if she had been injured, and talked to her a little bit and was calming her down, and Mike was talking to the mother still in the vehicle, and the more I talked, the less I wanted to help. I found out that all she could talk about was she had just had an abortion and she was getting a new pair of jeans. And the more I thought about what she was saying, that she was more excited about getting a new pair of jeans, but that she had just taken the life of an unborn child. I almost couldn't help her anymore. And then I realized our work is a long way from being done. And Mike and I talked after that event, and I realized that that unborn child could not speak. And it is up to us as adults to speak for those who cannot. We were walking in, and this display up here is so real, of seeing these little babies that you can actually pick up and hold that represent the sizes of the unborn, that their lives can be taken. And it just is so real to me. When you hear of the President of the United States talking about things like gun control and making laws that really don't make a lot of sense, and yet the whole concept, if we can just save one life, we should pass this law. And my husband so quickly said, well, Mr. President, we can save 4,000 a day if we would quit aborting the unborn. And when you think about 4,000 a day, what is wrong with us? How simple it would be when we think about 4,000 a day. That's just in this country. One of the things that Mike Huckabee wants to do the very first day, we've tried so many things, standing out, marching like we did today in the cold. We use the arguments that it's the right thing to do. We use the Bible that we say this is what God would want us to do, that we do this to the least of those, and yet it doesn't seem to work. The first thing that Mike would want to do would be to use something that sometimes we forget about. We don't have to make law. We have the United States Constitution. And now, clearer than ever before, we have 3D sonograms and 4D sonograms, and we can see the unborn. And we have DNA testing that tells us we have human life, and it begins at conception. When young ladies get pregnant, they run home and say, guess what? I'm going to have a baby. They don't say, I'm going to have a blob of tissue. They run home and say, I'm going to have a baby. We know it's life. It's not a puppy. It's not a head of broccoli. It's not a blob of tissue. It's life. And we can use the U.S. Constitution for our arguments. The Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment says that we have that life, that person that we know as a person is protected by the U.S. Constitution and is given due process. So the very first thing as President of the United States, Mike Huckabee would say, it is our turn now to say that person is granted by the U.S. Constitution due process. And the other side now has to prove their argument to kill that person. Not us to say we're protecting that life. It's their argument now to say, I'm going to kill that person. It's a whole new ballgame for us. And we are going to win it. We cannot continue to say, after every speech we give, thank you and God bless America. God is not going to bless this country if we don't stand up as a country and say every life is worth fighting for. And we deserve, as a country, to stand up for those lives. Thank you. And God truly needs to bless us.